it was roughly about 10 to 8, and I said, he's due now. I said, okay, now, he'll be coming up on this track here. This is what you listen for. First thing you're going to hear is a branch break. You know he's set, you know he's begun. Then you hear another one, crack, crunch down the valley. Then you'd hear boom, and then boom, and then boom, and then he starts to pick up the pace. And you can hear each footstep, crunch, 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 and you hear the foliage snapping and bursting and breaking as he's grappling it and propelling himself forwards. And he comes up at a great rate of knots all the way up, and I knew this particular night he was due to come up on this track. I said to Phil, okay, you go sit behind the stump over there with your camera. There's a good chance I wasn't filling him in totally. So Phil goes over there, and here's the stump, gets down behind it, and he's sitting there, he's got his camera in hand, finger on the button, and he's sitting there and he's waiting, and of course, you know, we're all aware that, you know, Fatfoot had started, he'd come up and he was probably 3/4 to the top. I would presume he'd probably picked up on the vehicle being there, and he'd gone stealth. So Phil's sitting there, we're standing just over here, and Phil goes, I'll just check out what's happening. So, as he stood up, Fatfoot stood up on the other side of the stump, face to face. He said, do you think I was about to take a photo? Didn't even enter my mind. So that was interesting. He stayed with us for about 6 hours that night, and it was after about that 6 hours when I put the flashlight right on his chest. And again, he's reddy brown, deep, thick chest, bowling ball shoulders, thick arms. The reddish brown hair was probably about, I don't know, 1.5 inches, 2 inches maybe, all over. And he was just so, cocky. He was just standing there like, I know you can't see me. He's probably been standing there for a while, and it was just a fluke, an absolute fluke, that that first burst of the button, straight on him.
Then I hit him full on with the floodlight, right on the chest.
Yep.
He's standing exactly where you guys are.
Yep.
He gets extremely embarrassed. Goes behind this tree here. Shoulders are out like this.
Can we
take a photo of that?
Yep.
He realises this isn't big enough to cover him.
Yep.
Turns sideways, doesn't work. And then right in front of us, he runs like this. He's got his arms like that.
But yep. Yep.
And he runs up to this tree here, hides behind, and then he drops down like this, and he goes all the way back, down behind me, down the valley, and there's nothing. You can hear him coming back up this way. I spent 3 nights a week in that exact position. This is where we play our games. His game, see how close he can get to me without me knowing. You can always hear him coming, but at the moment, of course, the only reason he did it, of course, is because you get inside your security perimeter, you start feeling really awkward.
Yep.
You didn't know what his intentions were. Run back down, finds a new angle to come back up on. And that was just his game. He loved it. Go for a walk, he'd follow. You cross the track, you come around the other side, you're behind a tree, as you come back, come through, boom, and you'd run off. On the other ridge to where Neil lives, basically you had the valley and you had the Lawson side of the cliffs. Above the cliffs you have rural housing, and you'd know when Fatfoot was coming towards Neil's backyard through the valley, because at the end of the valley you'd hear the dogs start barking. They were like alarm bells. They were the best warning device you could have for these creatures. The dogs start barking, and these dogs will start barking. As it's moving up the valley progressively, dogs will start barking, start barking, start barking as he's moving up. And then you hear footsteps, you hear the branches, you hear the foliage being tossed to side as he walked them through. And that was, I think, Neil's best warning device to alert him that Fatfoot was on his way. Escarpment below this granite outcrop here. Now, this is where Fatfoot comes from, or came from. If you pan down to our left here, you see the light green ferny area. That leads off into stream bed, valley, crevasse, heading west. Now, down there, approximately maybe 200 metres is where you get the first branch break. Crack, crunch. You know it's not normal, you know it's not natural, you know it's no Australian native animal, because they don't have the ability to break large branches in that fashion. So directly down here is where he'd start off, and he'd progress his way up the valley, ascend up to this area here, and this is where he had one of two choices. He would either take the bank left and come round the left of the cliff face, or he'd come right and he'd come round this way, and he'd walk just under here, just below us. He'd cut up through these rocks, come up over here, and you'd walk on up to where we were earlier, up towards the car. Now, once he got to the stage where he'd passed me, I'd make a noise to indicate that I'm here. It may be a cough, it might be a whistle, just to let him know that I'm here. With that, and all the noise, I mean, there's no mistaking, this bipedal, he's walking. Crunch, 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 and sweeping everything aside. When he heard me, and I let him know that I was here, suddenly, stop. Silence. Nothing. It's basically stopped in his tracks and going, you again. And he'd just squat. He'd just sit there and he'd wait. And we'd just play this game until I had enough. He had more patience than I. And I would basically head on up back towards the car, and I'd walk right past him. Couldn't see him, knew he was there, but as I passed him, he would then follow back up to the car, and that's when the fun and games began, and we'd spend hours each night playing games, hide and seek, this and that. He was just like a big kid, 1 in a million.